Welcome back for another video. I'm Eharbad, a free-to-play endgame player in Raid Shadow Legends. This is episode 20 in the free-to-play challenge series. It's been, I think, 5 days since the last video, so we have a lot to cover. So first of all, apologies for the delay in getting the video out. I had intended on recording and uploading video at least one over the weekend, really, if not two, but I wasn't feeling it, to be honest. And I thought better not to do a half-hearted video, wait until I had a little bit more energy and enthusiasm and interest, I guess, to record the video. And well, here we are, Monday night. Let's get into it. And we've got a lot of photos to catch up on. So there's probably going to be not that much gameplay in today's video, but there's going to be a lot of discussion and showing the progress. Although I wasn't really feeling the recording of the video, I did get quite a lot of progression on the account. So I have been pretty hard at it over the weekend. I've got quite a lot to share with you now. Right then, so Wednesday evening was actually where we cut off the photo series, and I had a little PB on Dragon 20 with, I think I had three dungeons that needed completing for the daily mission, basically. So it's just a slight incremental speed up of the Dragon 20 clear. Thereafter, I also managed to push on and beat Magic Keep Stage 19. Quite a lengthy run, but was able to get it done even with a level 28 Nari. Just thought I'd throw this in really just to show what you can achieve with some of these less commonly used champions. Here again, using Genbo for the buff strip on the A1, plus Nari with the buff strip both on the A1 and also the passive. So the two of them pairing up together nicely to try and get those buffs off the Magic Keep boss as quickly as possible, allowing me to beat stage 19 despite kind of not really having a classic team composition for it. On Thursday morning, we got a 500 energy bonanza, which really helped push along in the champion training tournament that was ongoing at the time. Also managed to get the Chronum to 6-star, as you can see here, and then went straight in with that brew that we've saved since the first week of the account. Finally actually had an opportunity to use it in an efficient way, in a way that actually benefited me in this regard. We'd already been farming the masteries on Chronum from the minute we got him, so we actually did the majority of the masteries when he was a 5-star, so we didn't need to put him through Minnow, got him to 6-star, and then used the barrel. Overall, that got the progress mission done to get our 5th 6-star, well, actually our 5th level 60 champion. So using the barrel just then really helped kind of keep the momentum on the progress missions as well. Got another rare from Mystery Shard Summonings, Odachi, actually a decent champion for the faction. We've got that block debuffs and a small increased defense. I will certainly be using him for the time being. We don't have a lot of champions to choose from across the factions, and a useful champion. Hopefully we'll get to use him in later stages as well. And yet another rare showing the face, this time a slasher, not a good rare. Got a little bit of progress on High Elves, managed to clear stage 3, not too much to shout about, but we have thrown in the Jingle Hunter there. Got a slightly better composition, but still, it's not great, let's be honest. Picked up a new rare helmet in the speed set from the shop, 250,000 silver. It seemed like a worthwhile investment. You know, we got speed and crit rate as the two substats. Pretty much however this rolls, it will be useful for the account. We've got a lot of champions that we need to gear out, and we don't have a lot of gear, so getting pieces that are generally going to be worth the silver investment in, I think is a sensible approach for us to take. Then managed to 3-star Skinwalker stage 1. We now have a full team, and actually not a terrible team composition. A little bit light on healing, but we do have nice crowd control from Gnarlhorn and Greybeard. We have a bit of an increased speed from Channeler. We've got a nice bit of AoE damage and a decreased attack coming in from Ursine. And then at the moment in this team, we got the Satyr there for a bit more TM control, but kind of a bit of a squishy champion, useful for Faction War Stage 21 and some of the other boss stages, but other than that, not really bringing much. If we jump over onto the champion training, this is now on the Friday morning, shortly after the Skinwalker obviously was also Friday morning. We see ourselves 3 hours to go in second place. We're in contention, but unfortunately we have to go to work, and it's not worth it, to be honest. It would be nice to finish top 3. That's really top 2 would be ideal to get that legendary book. But any placement in the top 3 I'll be happy with. But here we've got 4 people in contention, really 2 slots that everyone wants. And, we're just going to have to accept that we might miss out in this instance. So with the champion training reaching the end of its kind of time, we had intended on doing some booking anyway. We need to get some skills booked out on champions, and we'll get a few extra points, which will hopefully solidify the top 3 placement. So here we went for the booking on Nalhorn, all in the A1, Kel Supplice. And then another 3 still didn't manage to book him out. They again went in the A1. So we ended up fully booking Nalhorn just to get the A2 and A3 booked out. In High Katoon, after, we really just want the A2 and A3 booked out here. And of course, everything went in the A1. So we went for a full booking on High Katoon. In the end, we finished 3rd in the champion training tournament. Top 2 really did kind of go all out, to be honest. If I hadn't been at work, I probably could have been swept up in trying to compete and trying to finish in the top 2. And to be honest, I probably would have wasted a lot of resources trying to do it. But we actually have a good stockpile of resources. It would have been nice to get the legendary tome. It wasn't to be. So we'll just accept the epic tome, accept 3rd place, and move on with our lives. I don't think I have any screenshots of it, but obviously all 4 relentless pieces had no speed. I think one was another flat stat boot as well. So we're very much just following the theme of the account in that regards. Managed to get our accuracy up to rank 7 on the magic, which we actually need for a mission. There's a mission to get to upgrade to rank 7, 8, 9, and then 10. So again, we're focusing on making sure that we're using our resources to progress in the missions where possible. If we do have any surplus, we will look to continue to spread the love really around the accuracy node. For me, that's the highest value node, and all of my champions are magic champions, so I'm really getting maximum value by upgrading magic accuracy first. Managed to get a nice CB key. This is still on the Friday. 10.28 million on Nightmare. Like we're on that cusp where if we get 4 keys of a similar RNG, we're actually going to start getting that 4 key Nightmare. Followed up with a even nicer key on the second one, so we're definitely in contention here. These are both on Void, so it very much depends what the affinity changes to for our 3rd and 4th keys. As you can see, I'm actually now able to farm Dragon 20. Only 6 runs here. That was just using some multi-battles whilst I was at work, so only needed to do 6 at that moment in time. Champion training's behind us. We're now focusing on the dragon with the 2 times speed event going on, and there is an epic tome to be had if we're able to complete the tournament as well. Unfortunately, the clan boss did turn force, and I thought I'd throw a key in anyway. And I always had the option to, cut it early and not use the key. But with getting the 8.8 million, given that we had 2 good keys on Void, we're actually right on the edge. We could sneak a 4 key Nightmare, and it is worth it. If we are able to 4-key Nightmare, it's worth so much more to us than doing like a lower chest on Nightmare and max chesting Brutal. So we're going to risk it. Back in Faction Wars, this is now at the end of the work day. We're back home into Faction Wars, 3-starring Skinwalker. You can see we've taken out the Satyr now, and we've brought in the Goat, who actually has a continuous heal across all allies. So now we've actually improved the team composition slightly. So we've still got Gnarlhorn and Greybeard for crowd control, Channeler to keep us going faster. Ursine's going to be our main form of damage for the time being, and the Goat is going to give us a bit of healing across the whole team. So this is actually quite a good team composition, but of course the levels are pretty low. Managed to kick on though and 3-star all the way up to stage 6, but we didn't have enough team power to overcome the boss, so just stayed on stage 6 and farmed the rest of the keys there, which is, it's good progress. We managed to 3-star all the keys, all the floors rather, up to stage 6. That's pretty good going. I then threw Cronam in a temporary build, and this was simply because it was Barbarian Faction Crypt open at that point in time, so I just wanted to throw him in a set that was kind of commensurate with what I thought I'd end up taking him down the direction of. At least the gloves and the chest are ones that I certainly intend on using, and potentially the weapon and helm as well. We'll have to see. It really depends once I've got him fully ascended what the final or final interim build is. Obviously, there's no such thing as a final build on a relatively junior account, because you're continually going to be refining as you get better and better gear. Suffice to say, managed to go in, get Barbarian Crypt stage 13 done and 3-starred, which was something I hadn't been able to do before. So Cronum's definitely, even in that kind of very basic initial build, coming in and helping out, but I wasn't able to do the boss. Overnight, we were in Dragon, farming it up. I queued up a lot of energy. I believe I used all of the energy from the clan shop, plus I had a number of energy nodes saved up, ready to go. And essentially I thought, you know what? I think we can get that epic tome and get a lot of gear. We do need to invest in our gear quality. So it was worth throwing all of those saved up resources at that optimum time, farm out the dragon overnight and see what we get. The average runtime here was 6 minutes, but it was more like 5 minutes average. But my computer seemed to go super slow overnight, and when I woke up and came and checked it, it was still running at that point, but it was like skipping loads of frames, and what should take 5 minutes was taking 6. So that explains why that happened. Suffice to say, we managed on Nightmare to get the 4-key. We had to hit Force for the second time, and we just managed to scrape through. So we got it about 1 million over what was needed. We managed to get the 4-key, and I'm pretty happy with that, particularly given that it turned Force, which kind of indicates to me that we're probably borderline in a position that we can 4-key any affinity on Nightmare, which is going to be massive. It's going to be absolutely massive for us in terms of getting consistent resources from Clan Boss. From the actual chests themselves, nothing much in the first chest, or the second chest, in fact, because I don't have a screenshot of it, so it must have been terrible. But there it is. And we managed to go on and beat stage 20 of the Magic Keep. Just a 10-minute run. It was full auto. I don't think we'll be farming Magic Keep 20 as a 10-minute run, but, we're able to beat it. It's always just nice to be able to beat things, even if they take a long time. Funnily enough, I did just swap out the High Katoon for a War Maiden, and we cut the runtime in half. And at 5 minutes, it's a somewhat more acceptable farm, I'd say. Definitely a step better. Managed to also beat Arcane Keep stage 20 with a fairly similar set of champions using the High Katoon and the War Maiden. Again, that core trio of Aethel, Miscreated, and Jamasa giving us the solidity, should be fairly consistent as long as Jamasa manages to stay alive. I would really like to get Jamasa in a regen set at some point because that will just add the consistency. But right now, I just don't have the gear. I did actually farm the Arcane Keep. We need to do basically Arcane and Magic to get that Chronum to 6-star Ascension. So I took the opportunity on the Saturday, whilst Magic Keep was open, to be dipping in both of those keeps after I'd finished the Dragon tournament. We'd done champion training up until the Friday morning. Then we'd done 24 hours of Dragon. And then there was really nothing else that required attention in terms of the events and tournaments. So I just went full on pot farming, wanted to get Chronum to the 6-star Ascension. As you can see, similar here, Magic Keep stage 20, managing to consistently clear that. And once you're farming stage 20s, the quality of potions you're getting, or the potions per energy, is just so much better than what you get at like stage 15 or really any of the interim stages. It's so worth it. And the fact that we're able to do it for Arcane and Magic is massive. You can see, one more another photo of the Arcane Keep showing the consistency of the farm once more. Another 9 runs. We're able to basically do it 100% and got a new PB at 5 minutes 10. So it's still not the fastest of runs, but it's not bad, and we're getting it done. After all of that work, Chronum is 6-star ascended. Bring it on. And another rare for Mystery Shards, Stout Axeman, not a good rare. I think I'm going to stop sharing all these shocking rares I get from Mystery Shards. If I actually get something good, then I'll share it. Frustratingly, I actually got a Coffin Smasher on the main account when I summoned 10 Mystery Shards today, and I was just like, why isn't it on the free-to-play challenge account? But it wasn't. So just got to live with it, right? I then took the opportunity on, also still on the Saturday, in fact. We did quite a lot on the Saturday. I took the opportunity to rebuild Haikatoon. I wanted to get accuracy into her build. I think it's very important for my sort of dungeon farming that I'm able to get out that decreased speed on the A1 and the AoE TM control on the A3. So I'd rather lose 10 speed, gain a load of accuracy, using some of the gear that we've got in the last 2 Dragon tournaments, been rolling it up during the Chaos path. So again, we're trying to use all of our resources at the optimum time to make sure that we're getting additional progress or rewards whilst we're using those resources, essentially. So rebuild Haikatoon. You can see what I was aiming for. Just wanted to get kind of high speed, but with enough accuracy. You might say 181 isn't quite enough, but I do have 2 accuracy lead champions, 1 in Chronum and 2 in Frozen Banshee. So I think most of the time, once we're at the later stages, either Haikatoon will be a 6-star and I'll try and get an accuracy banner, or I'll have that accuracy lead. At least this means that I'm pretty high speed and have enough accuracy for the majority of the content I need her in for the time being anyway. Similarly, I took the opportunity to rebuild Miscreated Monster. His speed actually had like the old stats, take with a pinch of salt because I just stole his weapon for Haikatoon. So his previous stats were actually higher in speed and accuracy than that because it was a really good 6-star perception piece with, I think it was double speed 1 accuracy rolls. So it was actually, or maybe it was single speed, double accuracy. But anyway, suffice to say, he had far more accuracy than he needed. Again, I've gone for the 186 with him. I do actually have room on the banner to roll that up, or I'll be running an accuracy lead. So I've got options. This way, I'm massively increasing his effective HP pool, kind of slowly getting towards the 3k mark on the defense, which really will help when he's, one of these ally protect champions. It's very important to have high effective HP and generally high defense on an ally protector, as they're going to be taking a lot of damage, and the more mitigation you can get for that, the better. So yeah, having high HP and high defense is pretty important on the ally protectors. We then went and rebuilt Cronum in a slightly better overall build. Actually ended up going for a lifesteal paired with Immortal setup. I wanted to try and make sure they had as much survivability as possible. So I tried to go for a decent level of defense and HP. It's a little bit slower than I would like, but at least, I've got enough accuracy on him pretty much for any content, whether I use his accuracy lead or not. It's not a perfect build, but far from it. But we're working with what we've got here, and this was the best I was able to extract at the time being. I then went and tweaked Frozen Banshee as well, managing to push that defense number quite considerably. Dropped the accuracy there. She was in an accuracy chest, now in a defense percent chest. So managing to swap things around, use a weapon that had a double accuracy roll, I believe it was, and that kind of allowed me to redistribute the stats and get, that higher defense level and that higher effective HP level, which is pretty important for Frozen Banshee. I then also tweaked the Ronda. This is still on the Saturday. So my actual intention had been to record a video where I went through and did all these rebuilds, but I just, like I said, I really wasn't feeling it. Anyway, I managed to basically increase her speed and accuracy. I took out a load of damage, sacrificed the crit rate, which had ended up being overcapped anyway, and just basically went for a slightly quicker build with much more defensive stats and enough accuracy to be kind of consistently landing the Brimstone. When we eventually get her 6-star ascended, we'll be in a position to we'll be able to rebuild her in a much better setup. But for the time being, given she's only 4-star ascended, without having access to the amulet or the banner, this will work for where we need her. With that done, just managed to basically farm stage 12 on Bannerlord. I had no silver to try and progress further. I do think if I can get some decent gear onto the supporting cast here, we could probably beat stage 13 and maybe the boss at stage 14. I do think Seneschal will be quite useful with these two healers in Commander and Valerie. Seneschal there as a crowd control champion that also has a bit of healing built in. I think this composition could take us quite far, but we'll probably need Seneschal at least at a 5-star to be able to kind of progress much further, as really once you get to the second boss stage and beyond, the difficulty level scales up pretty fast, and only having a single 6-star becomes increasingly not enough at those stages. I did manage to beat Ice Column stage 17 with the team here. Ice Column's tricky. I don't have decrease attack, and I don't have a cleanser, and I don't have block debuff. So I'm missing kind of 3 critical things in being able to make Ice Golem consistent. But suffice to say, we were able to beat stage 17, and we're able to beat stage 18. But 19 was a step too far. It is force, and as you know, a lot of our champions are magic, so it was a bit too difficult. I did ultimately finish the Dragon tournament. I don't know why this screenshot's ended way out of sequence. I think that's because I'd intended on recording the video and like showing the actual Dragon tournament finish. Anyway, got gems, got the epic tome, so it was a pretty productive tournament. To be honest, did manage to beat Ice Golem stage 19 thereafter. Bit of a weird sequence on the photos, so I apologise for that. But this is not going to be consistent. It was 8 minutes, 38 seconds, which is quite obscene. And then stage 20 was also ended in defeat. So I wasted a little bit of energy on the Saturday, I'll be honest. But sometimes you've got to let your hair down a little bit, be a little bit less efficient, and just sort of have a bit of fun. So that was Saturday, wasting all the resources, rebuilding all the champions, and seeing what we could do. Anyway, we were in Ice Golem basically for the progress mission. We needed to beat it 10 times on auto, so I was trying to incrementally beat the higher stages as we were doing the mission. So, like, it wasn't complete insanity, but it maybe would have been more sensible just to beat a stage that we could do at 100% and not worry about it. But we are, we're doing this challenge, so it's nice to see how far the team can progress. Went back into Dragon 20, had to do 10 runs there for the mission, which is a bit annoying because we're just on a load of Dragon. But anyway, it is what it is, and managed to get a new faster time with these tweaked builds across the board. We do now have incrementally stronger champions, and it's beginning to show that those rebuilds, they did help. Like, we did manage to push that bit further in Ice Golem. We did manage to shave off, roughly a minute off the Dragon 20 time. So doing this incremental rebuilds when there is an opportune moment. I'd done that big farm of Dragon, so we had more gear. Plus, we had effectively an artifact enhancement event going on with Chaos Path. So it was a good time to roll gear up and then, and then work out the re-gearing thereafter. With that Dragon done, another progress mission there is complete. And then obviously shortly after that, we did Minotaur as well. That's pretty straightforward these days. Minotaur 15 is not a problem anymore. And then we had to go into Fire Knight. So, managed to beat Fire Knight stage 16. I do, however, need heal reduction. I don't have enough TM control to avoid the Fire Knight taking a turn. I don't have the survivability in my TM controllers, say Haikatun and Armiger, to be able to rely on bringing them. They're far too likely to die. Also, I don't know who I'd actually be able to take out. Really, you'd want to take out Jamasa, but then you don't have a reviver and you don't have any healing. So it's kind of like, got some problems. Definitely got some problems. Anyway, it's a bit faster if I threw Armiger in instead of Haikatun, but it's got the same problem. I did run it a few times. I tried different things back with Haikatun instead of Armiger here. I got a PB. Essentially, I couldn't be anything further than stage 16, so I just played around with the team whilst I did the 10 run. Got it done. Mission over. Move on. We do have in our back of our mind that Fire Knight is a problem dungeon, so we definitely need to come up with a solution. Like I said, ideally, even just getting a heal reduction, it will be slow, but I reckon we could progress if we had a champion able to put out heal reduction, and that's probably going to be an easier way of getting up to stage 20 than having a full-on TM control team that is also able to stay alive consistently. That's far more difficult to do unless you have, someone like an Arbiter, but you need to beat stage 20 on auto before you get Arbiter. So be able to do that, I reckon heal reduction is going to be our friend. Anyway, we're now in Spider. We've got 10 auto clears to do. We'd only ever cleared up to stage 10, and then we were just farming stage 10. But now we have the Chronum. And how far can Chronum and Miscreated Monster go? Well, they could beat stage 12 as well, and stage 13. And then when we hit a magic stage, I've swapped out Haikatun and Armiger, but we're able to beat stage 14 a lot slower, but we were able to clear it. And then stage 15, and then 16, and then 17. And we managed to clear stage 18 as well. And then, you got the notoriously difficult fourth stage of Spider's Den, stage 19. But, we managed to clear that one as well. So no challenger yet has cleared stage 20, but we have. So yeah, Chronum massive for Spider. Can confirm, even as a unbooked Chronum, just in not the best of builds, but obviously Miscreated Monster is massive here in terms of survivability. The massive shields help a lot. Then we have Haikatun and Armiger for the TM control, Jamasa to make it 100% kind of stable and consistent. If anyone does die, she is there for the revive. Also brings that heal, which is a nice top up if required. But yeah, stage 20 Spider, done. and obviously the mission done. So we had to do 10 on auto, and we just cleared everything from stage 10 to 20. So there you go. Mission done and stage 20 on farm. One more thing I did on the Saturday evening. Actually, no, sorry, I lie. This is now Sunday. Oh, a lot of this has been Sunday. I don't know when we turned over, but we're now the 17th image on Sunday. So if you rewind a bit, about 16 images ago, that would have been on Sunday. Anyway, managed to knock out Hydra and get enough damage for the first chest, which I think is like 1.66 million. So we got 1.6 million from the main team, the Cronum team, which I do think will get better. We do, we lack a lot, but significantly we do lack decreased attack and decreased defense other than our War Maiden. Someone like a Duke or a Stag Knight would be huge for the account. Like we really do miss one of these kind of champions that's just so strong across the board. But anyway, like I'm pretty happy with the champions we've got that I've been able to. It took 2 keys, admittedly, but able to get the first chest, which hopefully, fingers crossed, will start to get Mithrala fragments. And I think Mithrala would be absolutely massive for the account. Nice to say, here is the screenshot of the normal Hydra team. You can see Cronum basically doing pretty much all the work. And I think we managed to get 1 Brimstone proc from Rhonda. It would be nice to get Brimstone for Cronum as well. So I'm going to be keeping an eye out in the shop to get his soul. As having another champion with Brimstone would be enormous, particularly in Hydra. We were then back in the Arcane Keep with a view to do the Spirit Keep on Monday, which is today, which is what you saw me doing at the beginning of the video. So you see it all kind of fits together. Anyway, we were back in Arcane Keep, farming stage 20, and managed to pick up an Elhain from Mystery Shards. So that's another rare, but not a rare that we necessarily wanted, but actually not a bad rare. We'll see. Might end up needing to use her in Faction Wars as a damage dealer. Can be geared up in a stun set to help with crowd control and ultimately used in the rare magic and potentially rare attack secret rooms as well. So she has options to be used, but I'm not particularly excited about having her now. Not at this stage of the account anyway. And then this was probably my proudest achievement of the account so far, was actually finally beating that Bommel stage 50. Unsurprisingly, Aethel still alive, but Cronum definitely did good work here. But Aethel, always the last one standing in all of these Doom Tower kind of boss clears that I've shown, other than I think Miscreated did one solo clear. It's always Aethel at the end in that res build, able to kind of do so much work against the Doom Tower bosses. It really goes to show it's not so much that Aethel is a great champion, let's be honest, but actually having a res build in a lifesteal set early game, so you have the ability to kind of heal yourself and resist the kind of enemy mechanics, a bit like the kind of res regen build you do late to end game. It's so valuable in terms of progression. Like it's been huge having resistance builds. I'm kind of surprised at how strong it's been. But anyway, Bommel 50, it was done. Got an epic tome as well for it. Managed to clear the following 9 floors just on auto. Clicked it, walked off, and did some other stuff, and came back, and all 9 floors were cleared. So pretty happy with that. Does mean that today, after I finished recording this video, if I have time, to be honest, it's kind of a bit difficult. Finding time for all these things is actually Scarab. So I think one of the things I'm going to have to try and do, see if I can re-gear my Armiger in Destroy set. I need to get someone in Destroy set. And ultimately, if I'm able to reach the stats that I want on Armiger in Destroy, he's probably the best champion I have to be as a destroy candidate, and it would be the champion I'd like to build in destroy for the foreseeable future. So yeah, definitely, if I can do it, that's what I want to do. Oh, I've got yet another rare in this series, Tiger Soul, basically a 3-star chicken. And we had another Doom Tower run here. This is Secret Room 6. Magic champions only, which, funnily enough, 5 of my 6-star champions are magic, and Jamasa being a force. So obviously, in terms of the Arbiter missions, we actually need to rank up a Spirit and a Void champion as probably our next 2 6-stars. I am inclined to go for High Katoon, and currently Genbo's the only Void champion I have that's remotely worth being a 6-star. So those two are in my mind. We'll see essentially how far we get if we need to do that before we pull anyone else. There is, of course, Supreme Elhane, the fusion coming up, who could be a 6-star candidate instead of Genbo. But it really depends how strong she is unbooked and whether it's worth it. So I think we'll wait and see in that regard. But I do think High Katoon will probably be the next 6-star because we do need a Spirit champion. So this was another thing I thought about recording yesterday, which was essentially I had a mission to beat a faction war boss. And the 2 factions that were open yesterday were Shadow King and Skinwalker, both of which I was stuck on stage 7. And the boss itself is the one that does the HP burn, poisons, and fears. So it's really the absolute best boss to run a resistance team, or at least a resistance champion if you want to get just the 1-star clear. So I went here for the Genbo in a lifesteal resistance build. Now, this is only stage 7, so you don't actually need that much resistance. I think it's like 125 is what you're after. Maybe it was 150. So in any case, 138 with a few glyphs was going to be sufficient. Check Hell Hades Stages tool for confirmation if you want. Throw him in this gear and got the job done. So there you go. Mission complete. Well, advanced quest complete. And that's another faction war boss clear for us as well. And now that we actually have 5 champions, because we hadn't had 5 champions in Shadowkin previously, I then, after I'd cleared stage 7, went and backfilled stage 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and stage 6, all 3-starred. So that's pretty nice use of the resources. 3-star all up to stage 7, and then stage 7 just got the 1-star boss clear. Was able to 3-star stage 8 as well. So beginning to get into that second phase of the faction wars for Shadowkin, where you really need 1 6-star to get from stage 7 to 14. And then, like I said, from stage 14 to 21, typically 2 or 3 6-stars required for that. And obviously a better, more stable team composition. I did manage to 1-star clear stage 9, but that was the absolute maximum that the team was able to do. Essentially, I just ran out of damage. I don't have enough damage with the 5-star Genbo and the 4-star Chinoru, which is why I say typically between stages 7 to get to 14, you need at least 1 6-star. Is really you just need damage. Anyone below 6-star typically doesn't do that much damage. So yeah, that's essentially where we are there. I managed to get a silver chest from the champion training event that started yesterday, and I got 175k silver, so pretty rewarding. Anyway, we're back in Clan Boss yesterday. This is now Spirit. Is it Spirit? It looks like Spirit, although I wrote in the description that it's magic. I'm a bit confused now. I don't know if it's Spirit or magic. It must be magic. It's definitely magic. Because I used Javasa. Anyway, a magic PB and another affinity that we're able to get over 10 million. So on our way to that consistent 4 key on Nightmare. I then took the opportunity, because I wasn't content with just beating one faction war boss, even though the mission only requires you to beat one. I thought, you know what, why don't we try and do Skinwalker as well? So again, I went for a resistance build on Ursine, but with Ursine Ironhide, I decided not to go for the lifesteal build, mostly because I didn't have any more lifesteal, and Ursine's only a 4-star, so it really does pretty low damage. I actually had him in a Guardian build, so the idea there being, well, if everyone else is dead, then he's not actually taking additional damage from the rest of the team, but he is getting a 10% per turn heal, so it's a bit like a budget regen set. And given I don't really have any regen gear yet because I haven't been able to farm any Fire Knight in any material way, then the Guardian set worked as a good kind of filler, basically. Poor man's regen when everyone else is dead, and with resistance, able to just about scrape through. It was a little bit more touch and go than the Shadowkin one, but again, stage 7 is done. Equally, like Shadowkin managed to beat stage 8, but one less stage than the Shadowkin overall. Stage 8 was where we capped out in this regard. And again, it's just down to damage. We don't even have a 5-star in this team, so we're just so light on damage. Yeah, basically. I think if Ursine was a 5-star, we'd probably be able to clear another stage or two, but ultimately we're going to need a 6-star to really progress much further. Back in Clan Boss for one more image, essentially just to say, managed to secure the 4 key again, only just. Actually had a really bad void key on the first key, and I'm just trying a few different team compositions at the moment just to kind of see what works best. Do we want Cronum in there? Do we want Aethel in there? Do we want Jamasa in there? You know, like, try a few of these different compositions. We now have 6 stars, so we've got a few more champions to choose from. The majority of damage, though, is still coming from Rhonda and Frozen Banshee. Cronum, a bit disappointing, actually, in Clan Boss. Without the HP burn being at 100%, he does miss a few of them. And the interaction with the A2, A1, A3, it's a little bit disappointing because the A2 uses up all of the charges of HP burn and typically does that before he's even able to extend the HP burn with the A1, which he only really does if Jamasa's on the team. So I just find that on a single target encounter like Clan Boss, he was essentially consuming his HP burn far too fast, and there was no way of extending it or keeping it up to get more HP burn damage. And then in terms of triggering the extra A2s, I went for the War Master approach because ultimately I think he'll be more impactful for me on Hydra. And to be honest, Rhonda's just better in Clan Boss than Cronum. She also has that passive where she gets extra attack, but, you know, partly because this Rhonda has Brimstone and Cronum doesn't. There's just no contest right now. Maybe if Cronum was booked, maybe if Cronum had Brimstone, then this would be a much tighter comparison. But as things stand, Rhonda's just better for me in Clan Boss at the moment. But, you know, Cronum's pulling his weight elsewhere. We got the Spider 20 clear, and that's massive for the account. So pretty pleased with Cronum overall, but maybe not as OP as Ninja in Clan Boss, at least with my experience so far. I'll reserve judgment until I've used him a bit more and maybe, you know, tweak the composition and found a better way to kind of play to his strengths. I then this morning had to mix the 10 arcane potions to get that mission done, and then that will ultimately throw us into Spirit Keep. And that is us all caught up. My god, look how long that video was. And here I actually am in the Spirit Keep still. We've been in here farming the entire duration of this video. And it's not because we needed to do more than 10 runs for the first part of the mission, but the main issue is we need 100 of these greater potions to create or craft the 10 superiors required. Basically, we have to mix 10 superior spirit potions, which requires 100 greater and 1,000,000 silver. And I've run this 30 times today. We're only able to consistently clear stage 15 for the issues that are kind of very similar to Fire Knight, to be honest. Our TM controllers are too squishy to stay alive, and they don't have any way of keeping themselves alive. And then, to be honest, why don't we just give it a go? So you can see we only got 5. I did 16 runs. We got 87 lesser. That is absolutely disgusting. Why don't we go try stage 18 and we'll go to our Spirit Clear. We will drop. Who are we going to drop? Let's drop Rhonda for Jamasa. So we at least have a way of reviving if required. And maybe we should go for Chronum instead. So we'll go for something like that. Does that make sense? Probably. Right, let's give that a go. But to be honest, I'm actually not going to have time to even let the run play out for the video because this is obscenely long. But maybe with Jamasa, they're able to kind of stay alive. Maybe that will give what we need. I don't know. I will see. But because only being able to clear stage 15 is clearly a problem. We'll see. It'll be in the next video anyway, whether I'm able to progress further and clear the higher stages or not. The problem, like I said, is heal reduction. I don't have heal reduction, and I don't think I actually even have enough TM control, even if they do stay alive, to be honest. But we'll give it a go. I probably actually don't have enough damage now either, so problems, so many problems. Anyway, as always, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Your feedback is always welcome, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.